never thought that rap was a novelty. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, it's funny, let's do that. We love it. Let's try to see if we can do it.
Right.
And when we first started doing it, I just wanted to sound like Jimmy Spicer. And so I was doing that thing where I wanted to sound like a specific somebody, and that changed very quickly because I don't sound like that.
But was your voice something developed over time, or was that the first? Like, how did you get to the voice that is the iconic voice that you rap with? Was it was it something you worked on, or was it just what came out
I think it
initially?
just came out. Yeah, because at first I tried to sound like a baritone
Right,
Jimmy
because your
Spicer.
speaking voice is lower, clearly.
Yeah. I just something happens when I start yelling.
Just goes up an octave or two. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, I was going to say that you nailing air quote the voice, you nailing that's some rare shit. Because like again, it took Chuck D an album to really get into Chuck D space. Like there's very few people. You nailed it. Q-Tip nailed it. Um,
All right, so I was trying to start a band in the 90s called the Nasal Tongues. It's me and Q-Tip and MC Milk and Be Real.
be real.
Yeah. And it was one of
What
those things
happened?
like, yeah, 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 we'll do it. We should do it. And then it never happened.
No one ever finds their voice until like the second album or the third album, but like your voice was fully developed by that first album. Like how did you, I guess what Bill asked, like I would think that I have a theory, especially when it comes to hip hop music and soul music, which is I feel like most of the time acts are not living in the studio to really know what their sound is. It's like we got an hour, let's get in, let's get out, one take, we're done. Whereas you can tell who had time to, like Prince obviously had all the time in the world to figure out what his sound is and all that stuff, which is why he's so developed. I'm certain Jackson's budget, same thing, allows that. But there's a lot of groups who had to be in, had to be out. So in general, like, were you guys like living in the studio, or were you always like demoing stuff? Or because even when it comes to like the chemistry of the delivery, like the whole tug of war wordplay between you three, like how are you guys developing that?
Well, there's a few things. One, the thing that just comes to mind now about our voices is that the three of us, it's kind of like siblings and you have to fight for your space. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And so we're trying to each try to fit in and be louder than the other one or try to make ourselves fit in and stand out, if that makes sense. That could be bullshit. I don't know, but
No, that's what I think. I think you found a high register that obviously Yout can't do.
um,
And
what we used to do is we would go to Mike's apartment and we would just write rhymes over an instrumental of whatever. We would just listen to whatever it was over and over, whether it was our song, a demo of a beat that we had, or a beat that I made, or some other record that we just listened over and over again. And we would write rhymes and write them and then sift through them and pick what we liked. And then we would put three copies all together and underline who was going to say what. So we knew and we would practice at Mike's apartment.
aha. Okay. That
And
all
I
right.
mean, we also just tried to copy Run DMC and Fearless Four and all the, all the greats, you know.
Well, I've heard a demo of I think I heard a demo of looking down the barrel of a gun in which all three of you are saying the same things. So I always wondered, like, was it a thing of also punching in? Like, would you all just say the same verse in the way that you would say it and
No,
then
there was only
decide?
not that I remember that might have happened, but the only time I remember was there's a specific song of Paul's Boutique where Yauka's like, we got to do it all three at the same time. And me and Mike were like, that's a terrible idea.
Well, I definitely heard looking down the barrel of a gun that way, where all
Okay.
three of you are
It
saying
could
the
have
same
been.
things.
It could have been.
Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, uh, overworking, underpaid, staring at the floor.
Yeah,
Oh, stop that train.
that's the song. It's got all three of us. It's on the
Stop.
record.
Yes, stop that train.
Yeah.
All right,
I thought it was a terrible idea. And it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's like 1 minute on the whole album.
got it. But you also did a version which you. So when you guys are doing your vocals, are you doing it all at the same time in the studio together,
Oh yeah.
or
Not
you
always,
go in
not
once?
always, but often.
But doesn't that make it harder to get a perfect take? Or you just do a take and then you punch in whatever you have to.
Perfect take.
What's a perfect take?
It's precision.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not saying that's not something. We always got a perfect take. What are you talking about? No, that's not. That's perfect take wasn't a concern. Making each other laugh was more important. And so
okay.
our studio when we got our studio in LA, there was like the live room here and the control room here, and the pass through was like a phone booth thing. And so
Hmm.
it'd be like one of us in the studio, one in the phone booth, and one in the live room with a window. And we'd always just, I don't know. It's
Got it.
fun to do it all together.